unfriendly, familiar faces out there. Waves. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. Teresa and I started talking about this event so long ago before the date was set, and I know there's been so much work put in. And when she asked me to speak, and I shouldn't admit this because it's one of the things I'm going to tell you not to do, but I thought, me? Why would you want me to, And she mentioned the word inspirational, and I burst out laughing. But I really like Teresa, and she's not someone I wanted to say no to, so I said, of course I will do that for you. And then she told me who the other keynote speakers were, and I thought, are you kidding me right now? But I figured I'm not right next to my friend Kristen, so this should be okay. But it really is my pleasure to be here. Teresa, thank you to you and your team for putting on such an awesome event today. And thanks to you all for being here. I think it speaks a lot to you about you wanting to be here on a Saturday and to learn. I believe in women. And not in a, yay, rah, rah, I mean that too, right? But I really believe in women. I believe that we make change for ourselves. I think that things are better for us because of what we've done, and certainly with the help of our male colleagues and friends, but I think we do it. I believe in women, and I think you all do too, and it's a really exciting time. I teach on my moonlighting life, I teach in higher ed, and was doing some work for preparing for a class recently and came across this quote. I don't know if anybody recognizes it. It's Mary Wollstonecraft. She wrote it in 1792 in A Vindication of the Rights of Women. And I hadn't seen it since high school. She says, I don't wish women to have power over men, but over themselves. And isn't that what we want? This isn't about one having more than another. This isn't about taking a bigger slice of the pie. This is about making the pie bigger for everybody. And that's what we do as women, and that's what excites me. So in the spirit of full disclosure, and you can move on, Josh, I am not a motivational speaker, as I've already pointed out to you. I haven't figured it all out, and if you have, you are welcome to come throw me off this stage and finish for me, because I would love to hear from you. And I am where I am because of other women, and again, it's not to the exclusion of men, but I have had a series of really extraordinary women in my personal and professional life who gave me opportunity and who believed in me when I didn't think I could do it. When at 23 they said, you should be the director of this, and I thought in my head, I can't do that, I'm an idiot. And I did it. And then when another opportunity came along, but I'm an idiot, I can't do that. But I did it. And so it takes us to do that. Do you know that women more often, much more often than men, have to be asked multiple times to run for public office? Men just wake up and roll out of bed and say, I'm going to do it. And good for them. Good for them. We need to do that. We need to do that. We need to take these opportunities. So I want to talk to you about a couple of challenges that I think we face, and hopefully there will be some humor in some of them. I don't know if anybody here has really been able to hone in on that black part of that Venn diagram. Because I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the middle of the night and the mind starts going and you think, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to pack the lunch, and we're going to get the shots, and we're going to do this for work, and we're going to do this, and then at some point I'm going to ride a bike, and all these things I have to do. It's rarely that overlap, right? And so when I say to folks, how much time do you think, how much do you have control over your schedule? That's the point where you can laugh. People don't, right? You say, who puts the boundaries on your time? I had the opportunity to work for a wonderful woman when I was home where I grew up in Maryland for a couple of years as an adult. And she told me that in the earlier part of her career, it was every night, it was some event that she and her husband would go to. And it took a health scare for her to realize that she could say no. That she didn't have to be everywhere. That no one was really going to look around and say, where's Nina? And the really cool thing she taught me was you don't have to have a reason to say no. You can say no. Just no. Or no thank you, right? We don't have to give a reason. And this is something that I still really struggle with. Because someone will ask me to do something, and it may be something that I might be interested in doing, but if it's going to take my small amount of free time away from my family, it's just not that interesting to me. Maybe it's something I don't want to do at all. And that's okay to not want to do things. Now I just have to say no. And you don't have to give a reason. So if you take anything away today, please take that. The next one is about saying you're sorry. Do you all do this? You walk into someone's office, so sorry to bother you. Are you? I mean, are you? You work together, you need to collaborate, right? But we do this, or sorry to interrupt. Sorry. I have a 7-year-old son, we play tennis. I apologize when I hit a ball away from him. He doesn't care. He wants to run. The baby wants to run. Sorry, Xavier, sorry, sorry, sorry. It's fine, Mama. My 7-year-old is teaching me not to say sorry. And one of the ways I really caught myself doing that was in writing, but it was the easiest to cure. So at the end of an email, I would write a whole long email justifying something, explaining, persuading. And at the end of the email, I would write, just my 2 cents. Well, that just eliminated any credibility from the previous paragraphs of what I had written. Just. Just is as bad as sorry. We don't have to qualify what we say. What we say matters, particularly if you're taking the time to write it. So please stop apologizing. We have smart failures. And this is another one I like. You know, people think, oh, well, you do this, and then you get promoted to here, and then you do this. For the millennials in the room, anybody know how many times you're predicted to change jobs? I mean, it's like over a dozen times, right? That you're going to change jobs in your life. This is not a ladder anymore. This is a jungle gym. And it's not just for millennials. It's for so many of us. If you had told me 2 years ago that I would be a chamber president, I would say, no, I'm going to be a university president. Because I'm in higher ed, that's what I know, that's what I do. And one day I'll be a university president. And then here it is. Complete jungle gym move. And I am not particularly acrobatic. So complete change, right? So we have to be adaptable to that and be comfortable. We have to get comfortable with that image on the right. We have to get comfortable with that because sometimes it's messy and it's ugly, but it gets us where we want to be, doesn't it? Many of you know the president at Avery, Tiffany Franks, who it was my pleasure to work with for a number of years. And I can't tell you how many times she just looked at me and said, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And I said, but I want it all perfect, and I want it all now, and I want it all done. And she said, I understand that. But don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Because then you just stop and you don't do anything. Because is anything ever perfect? Sadly, no. Sadly, no. So it makes me wonder what you've passed on because you felt like me, maybe you were an idiot. Or maybe you were just insecure about your abilities. Or you felt that you couldn't take advantage of that opportunity. And again, this is where we can learn from our male colleagues and friends. The research shows that when they're offered a promotion, they don't think, can I do it? They just think, sweet, a promotion, I'm going to do that. Right? And we start thinking, well, I don't have this skill, and I really haven't learned that yet, and could I really master it while I'm doing the job? Right? And all the 18 questions, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready, where's my office? We need to learn from that. We need to capitalize on that, because I believe in women, and I think you do too. And the last point, or lesson, I guess, that I've learned that I wanted to share is paying it forward. And I just think this is so important. This isn't about position. It's not about title. You don't have to have any of that to pay it forward. This is about respect, and it's about empowerment. Again, I had the opportunity to work for someone in 2 places. I had the pleasure of working for her in 2 different institutions. And she was always preparing people under her for what was next. Because for her, if you were doing the same thing in 10 years for her, she had failed you. She hadn't prepared you to move on or up or over, whatever that move was. And so for her, it was always about preparing you for whatever the next thing is. And that's something that I took away from her. And so for my team, they may be working for me in 5 years. I hope it's in a very different role, a role where they're able to grow and develop. And I hope I've been able to help them get there. And so how can we do that in our professional lives? How can we do that in our personal lives? How can we do that as parents and as friends? Again, it's not about position or title. It's about respect and empowerment. So here are some of the things that I've learned. Not everyone will be happy for you. It's amazing, isn't it? I ran into a woman I've known for a number of years. She's lovely, and I was with my father. This was last fall, and I had just been appointed to a particular state commission, and she had seen it, and she said, "Aren't you just a little go-getter?" And I thought, that's not really a nice thing to say. You know, I could tell that what was said and the way it was said, she was not happy for me. She probably didn't want that opportunity for herself, but for whatever reason, she was not happy for me. And you know what? I didn't really care. Because I learned a long time ago, that not everyone will be happy for you, right? We can strive to be happy for others regardless, but we can't control what the others say. The next thing I've learned, and Kristen, you know the gentleman well who I learned this from. Everyone has an opinion, but we should only value the qualified ones. Right? How often do we say, oh, but this person would want me to do it this way, and then this with this, and then this one wants it? No. Right? We have to discern who the qualified opinions are coming from, and then move forward. And the most qualified opinion we have is our own. Because I believe in women, and I think you do too, and we have to believe that our opinions are qualified ones. For anyone who's read the book Switch, you'll recognize my next one. It's that resistance is often a lack of clarity. Sometimes people aren't pushing back or resisting just to be difficult or to give you a problem. They're resisting because they don't really understand what the ask is, what the need is, what you want them to do. And so we have to be clear in what we want from folks, and they will appreciate that. And lastly, and I'd be shocked if none of you had ever experienced this, too often we are tougher on each other than our male friends and colleagues are on us, aren't we? Did you see what she wore? I can't believe she wore that. Why would she wear her hair like that? Why did she show up to work that way? Why did she come in at this time? Why did she do this? Did you see the shoes? Why did you? Is that what we should be worried about? Again, let's make the pie bigger, y'all. Let's make the pie bigger. It does not have to be this little pie. We can all be successful, and people who are afraid of making the pie bigger are concerned about themselves. They're not worried about you. And I think if we do this together, because I believe in you and I believe in me, then we can make that pie bigger. So I know you've had a long morning, and I want to end with one of my favorite Sheryl Sandberg quotes. She says, "We need women at all levels, including the top, but at all levels, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored." So I believe in you, and do you believe in you? I guess that's the real question today, right? I believe in you, and I believe in me, so let's go do this together, shall we?